Everyone, hi. Bruce Muffs and LCSW, Sons of Nevada, coming at you with another live stream. Tonight it's going to be about personality disorders. But first, a little bit about myself before we begin. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and have been so for the past 25 years. I have an MSW from the University of Georgia. And after I completed my master's program, I had to do a 2-year internship program and then take a national exam to become licensed, of which I have to do every single year. I work with thousands of patients from 3 to 83 and in all kinds of settings: inpatient, outpatient, homes, courts, ERs, everywhere you can think. And I've done thousands of assessments. I have testified hundreds of times in court regarding mental health issues, as well as doing dozens of presentations to various law enforcement agencies on how to work better with the mentally ill and understand various mental health disorders. Finally, in addition, I have to take 40 hours of continuing education credits every 2 years to maintain my license. Tonight's topic is going to be again about personality disorders, but first I want to get the lineup for the rest of the month. We're going to have a live stream obviously tonight, a live stream next week. We're going to have music video breakdowns the following week, probably just try to drop like 2 or 3. And the following week, which will be on the 26th of August, 5:30 West Coast time, we will be doing part 2 of Dysfunctional Families. Just want to give a brief shout out about how the training went last month. It went excellent. We had great response, a lot of super feedback. What we did, we're going to go forward with this from going on now, is that we are encouraging people to have questions and comments from the get-go. And that made it really, really interesting. We got a lot of feedback from people that said, hey, this was the best training ever, like the interaction, like the style, like the, one-on-one. So if you get a chance, this is going to be another great training, because, by the way, everyone that went to that training and I said, you want a part 2, they said, yes, 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 yes. So that's going to be the style going forward. And finally, we even got comments from people saying, hey, really enjoyed the training, looking forward to the next one. So we'll talk about that further as it gets closer. So with no ado, we're going to get started with personality disorders. I see we already have some comments, which is great. I'll answer those in a second. The reason why I'm doing personality disorders, we get a lot of comments about that, actually. As far as the music, we've learned already. We just listen to you guys and we just go forward in that direction. But people have said to me often, can you explain personality disorders? What is a narcissistic person? What's an antisocial person? And in particular, what is a borderline personality? So I'm going to go over all of those to really kind of clarify that, explain my experience with these kinds of personalities, help you understand yourself if you have one of them. And if you're around people that do have one of these, what to be aware of, how to look at them differently, so you understand what you're getting yourself into and what kind of relationship are you walking into. Okay, question. I see already. Zion, hey, appreciate. Love and support from Australia. Love your work. Thank you so much. Just want to give a shout out to Australia. I watched the semifinal basketball game today between the USA and Australia. And you guys got a heck of a team. Half the team is NBA players. So you guys have come a long, long way. And kudos to Australian basketball for getting to the top level. All right, here we go. The thing about personality disorders is that people say to me, where does it come from? Is it like PTSD? Is it like having trauma? Is it like having schizophrenia? The answer is no, that is not the case. Okay. A personality disorder, I'm reading this from the Mayo Clinic. They put out some excellent stuff. Is a type of mental disorder in which you have a rigid and unhealthy pattern of thinking, functioning, and behaving. So it's a triple crown of thinking, functioning, and behaving. A person with a personality disorder has trouble perceiving and relating to situations and people, and it causes significant problems in relationships, social activities, work, and school. Oh, one other thing, by the way, the best 3 comments we get tonight, we are going to give you the key to unlock the training. You'll be our guest for the training at the end of the month. So if you got questions, comments, fire them away. And what's what we're looking for. The best 3 people participate the most, have the most comments with the most insight, whatever it is, we're going to give 3 of them away, 3 free trainings for the end of the month for Dysfunctional Families Part 2. Okay, now, In some cases, you might not realize you have a personality disorder because your way of thinking and behaving seems natural to you, and you may blame others for the challenges you face. That's a biggie. Is really what happens with people who have personality disorders is they really begin to think that how they think and how they act is normal, is appropriate, is okay. There's no ramifications, there's no problems, there's no issues of like, meaning maybe I should change how I think. They think it's normal. And when you kind of point it out to them, unless they're willing to really change and really see things differently, this ingrained pattern of behavior doesn't really go away, doesn't really disappear. That's who they are. That's how they see themselves. That's how they view the world around them. Personality disorders also begin in teenage years or early adulthood, and sometimes may become less obvious throughout middle ages, because what happens is that becomes a part of who you are. When you're 50, your brain starts to get a little bit less elastic. You become kind of ingrained in your thinking. You're not really going to change. So if you think about something from one angle, you don't really get away from it anymore. Is it easy to identify if a personality disorder? Yes, because you know why? We're doing the training tonight. And that's the whole point, is that once you understand it from a clinical perspective, like I'm going to break down, you'll begin to pick up on these things pretty quickly. And you'll understand what kind of boss you have, what kind of spouse you have, what kind of friends you hang around with. Do you really want to get into bed metaphorically with somebody on a business deal? How do they really handle money? How do they look at relationships? Why is somebody always having a hard time being in the spotlight or speaking out? Why are some people clingy? Why are some people always driving you crazy? Always drama, drama, drama. You'll understand that tonight. So just sit back and enjoy the show, because that's the whole game plan for tonight. So great question. But yes, once you start to understand people and their patterns of behavior, when you see the same thing done again and again and again and again, you understand that's how a person with these 9 personality disorders looks at life around them. Notice the word I said, them, not you, not me, but them. I hope your day is going well. Peace out. Stay safe. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Much appreciation. Where are you calling from, by the way, Frantic? I'm just curious. Frantic. I'm curious where are you dialing in from? And then you take off. Appreciate it. So here we go. They usually begin in the teenage years or early adulthood. Now, here's the thing also, just from a clinical standpoint, these personality disorders, if I put them down on a treatment plan, when I have to write somebody up or give an assessment, and I say, well, he suffers from this and she suffers from this, and I put one of these down in the main category, boom, I don't get paid. Insurance companies will not pay on a personality disorder. Why? Because in their opinion, this is ingrained in your personality and you're not going to change. So you never put this stuff down in the main category of someone's diagnoses, maybe at the end, at the bottom, or even generally we don't even really put it in at all, because if you do, what you're getting, unless it's going to be for a court, like a court evaluation, when they want to know things on a different level, insurances do not pay on these bottom 9. They look at it as, whoa, not worth it, not going to change, no matter how much therapy you're going to get, how many meds, how many outside services you're going to get, peer support. No, they do not pay. I want to make that really, really clear. I'm from New York. All right, cool, man. I'm from Brooklyn. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, now, they come in 3 clusters. It's cluster A, cluster B, cluster C. And it's based on, several characteristics and symptoms. Here we go. The first one is called cluster A. These are personality disorders. And what the first group of 3 is, they're categorized by odd, eccentric thinking or behavior. And the 3 of them that there are paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, and schizotypal personality disorder. So here you go. The first one's called paranoid personality disorder. And if you have any questions, any comments, like, hey, my buddy does this, my buddy does that, I noticed this about my father, I noticed this about my boss or my former girlfriend, Ask. What we found in the training, which we're going to go on from now on, is you're there to ask questions. And the live streams are no holds barred. I think you guys know by now, after doing like a couple of dozen of these things, I want your comments. I want your questions. I feed off your energy. Anyone that's kind of dancing around, should I type something in or not? Do it. I want to hear what you have to say. It helps me grow, helps me understand our audience better, makes the training more lively, more interesting, and everyone gets more value out of it. So if you got questions, don't think, oh, I feel stupid, I feel embarrassed. This question could have a huge impact on your mental health and how you see yourself and working with other people. And even about yourself, if you have an issue, hey, maybe not everyone is crazy, tell me I need to get some help, and you go and get some help that you may very well badly need. Okay, so here we go. Paranoid personality disorder. Okay, the first word gives it away. Paranoid. I'm paranoid, meaning I'm nervous about things. So what is it? Pervasive distrust and suspicion of others and their motives. You're always why do you want to help me? Why? I don't get it. Why do you want to tutor me? Why do you want to be my friend? I don't understand that. What's in it for you? Wait, we have to work as a team. I'm going to have to do all the work, right? Why do you want me on your team for? You could have anybody you want. Why do you need me? How to forgive my father for being a weak man? Good question. Here's something you okay. You know what? You know what? I'm going to segue on that one, Javier. That's a good question. When you understand people, as I've gotten older and I'm being around, let's say I'm 58 now. Not maybe I'm like I am 58. When I'm around people now who are 70 and older, and they have a certain style of thinking, I accept that that's who they are. You can't change people. At that age, you're not going to change somebody. Your father may have had issues, but you got to look at the whole totality of why he is the way he is. So I'm much more understanding of looking at things from like a bigger timeline, if that makes sense. I don't look at things like from a year ago or 5 years ago. I'm looking at things from like sometimes 30, 50, 70 years ago. When you've been through tough events, where being emasculated, or being made to feel small, unfortunately, that you take with you as you grow older. So I've learned to be more forgiving of people that had issues and had more than likely had trials and tribulations in their life growing up. May not have had a relationship with their father, may have come from dysfunction, may have had trauma growing up, or saw a lot of trauma. And, and this is something I want people to start to understand, because we talk about this a lot. If you notice, so many things in life are related to your childhood. So if there are any parents out there listening right now, take this stuff seriously. It's what your kids pick up from you, what they see around you, what they're going to carry with them as they get older. You're dysfunctional, they're going to be dysfunctional. They're going to try and get away from you. They're going to try and find mentors and friends and good people. They're also going to find drugs and alcohol, people that will take advantage of them, and horrible choices in relationships. So it kind of goes two ways. You want to give your kids as much of a chance as possible to be successful. That's all. So it's a good question, and there's a lot behind it. But I've learned to look at how people grew up. What have they suffered through in life? What kind of trials and tribulations have they been through? And how do they respond to things? I'm much more aware of that now as I get older. And when I go back to visit, I had taken a brief mini vacation, well, you can call it vacation, to go back to see some old friends. I met a lot of people I hadn't seen in a million years. And, you catch up with people, and not everyone's life ends out great. Not everyone's life is going to be pristine. We're like, yeah, I've moved forward in certain areas, but I've moved backwards in other areas. There's problems. And I'm understanding now, able to look at that a little bit differently now and see the totality of one's life. So it's a paranoid personality disorder. You have unjustified suspicion of the loyalty or trustworthiness of others. No. You people, your ethnic group, your religion, where you're from. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. You're from Manhattan. Why would a Manhattan guy want to hang out with me from Brooklyn? You guys are supposed to be better than us. We're not friends. Oh, I'm from New York. You're from New Jersey. What do we have in common? Two different states, but it's an unhealthy suspicion of what's around you. Oh, yeah, you're gonna be on our team. You didn't come from my high school. What I want you on our basketball team. We're playing in a summer tournament. Well, what school are you from? I went to Tech. You went to State. You went to Valley. Well, I don't want to be around you. You don't know how we play. You don't know our system. You're gonna screw it up. You're gonna mess it up. And perception of innocent remarks or non-threatening situations as personal insults or attacks. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You say one thing that's not PC, all hell breaks loose. Oh, you're racist. Oh, yeah. You don't like black people. You're anti-Semitic. Oh, yeah. You don't like women. Oh, yeah. You don't like the fact that I'm tall? What, it threatens you? What do you got against short? What, you made fun of me? What, you don't like people with short hair? Oh, yeah. You got a problem with tattoos. Yeah, I got a couple of tattoos. You don't like them. I could see you don't like them. Huh? They go overboard. And you can imagine it's very difficult for these kinds of people to have any kind of solid relationship because who wants to put up with that? Always, 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 always suspicious. Got a couple of questions here. Hey, outstanding work. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and experience on personality disorders. That's one of my good buddies, Bob Benedict, chiming in. Thank you, Bob. Much appreciation. Outstanding social worker, great father, great husband. If you got Bob as your father or if you got Bob as your husband, you did well in life. Guy's super bright, very hardworking individual, and a pleasure to work with. So thank you there, Bob. Appreciate it. So understand where that's coming from, that fear, that paranoia that you're going to hear. And, I get this a lot. My spouse is cheating on me. Okay, what's your evidence? You have any text messages? You have any compromising photos? Did you hire a detective? Did you check her phone records? No, it's not the point. She's cheating on me. Again, based on what? Have you found anything incriminating? Letters, text messages, anything to do with your bank? Is she disappearing at certain times? No, she goes to her job, comes home, cooks dinner, takes care of the kids, goes to bed. And I check her computer. Oh, I know. I check her phone, but I know she has something going on with a guy at work because I was at the company picnic 2 years ago and she was flirting with him. Again, do you have anything that indicates that or shows that? No, I know. Like the paranoia. Everyone's out to get me. Everyone's out to get. They want her. I can see they look at her. Oh yeah, the way they look at her, they want her. They want her bad. These are the kind of problems that you have with people that are ill. This is the paranoid personality disorder that is so pervasive. And to get angry, the slightest thing you say, hey man, on the basketball court, you kind of missed that shot. Can you maybe pass the ball to me? Or next time we're in the outfield, don't crash into me. Let me catch the ball. It was hit, to me really in right field, not center. Oh yeah. Oh, you're trying to take my job, right? Oh yeah. Okay. You think you're better than me? You're better outfielder than me? You want the ball? From now on, any ball hit to the outfield, I'm not moving. You better run 50 feet to catch the ball anymore. I'm not moving. Take any slightest thing you say, take as like a personal attack on them. They can't get any criticism. So they get very stilted in their thinking and they get very controlling. Can't handle anything new. And tendency to hold grudges. Oh, yeah. List of grudges. I hate. Got a list of hate everyone they hate. Hate everybody. Who wants to be around that? I hate the postman. Doesn't deliver the mail on time. I hate the garbage disposal people. They don't put the garbage can back the way they were supposed to. I hate city workers because they don't do a good job when they come to my house. I hate. Never let it go. Got some comments popped in. Tommy, would you say that personality disorders are common and that most people have encountered a personalized one? Absolutely. You'd be stunned once you go through this with me, and this might be a two-parter. You'll see you'd be surprised how many people. There's a Yiddish word for it. It's called shtick. It's a fairly common word now in the English language. It's like shtick is like, what are your issues? What are your problems? Well, what kind of shtick do you bring to the table? What's your shtick? Deadpool used it in Deadpool 2 when he was bringing out new heroes for his team. He goes, so what's your shtick? Like, what do you do? What do you bring to the table? What do you bring, either good or you bring either bad? So everybody has certain amount of that. Very few people do not have one of the 9. It's more pervasive than you think. And in general, as you get older and you get calmer around people, you start to see them for what they are, what they bring to the table. Hey, Triggered Honda Boy. So Bruce, glad to see you back on the grind. Hey, never ends, never ends. Thank you, Triggered Honda Boy. Much appreciation. One of our biggest fans. Great commentator. We love having him on and love getting his input and insight. Thank you so much. Much appreciation. So that's what you're going to get with paranoid personality. So that paranoia is just never going to go away. It's just there. Okay, now, schizoid, I'm going to spell it out, SCHIZOID, personality disorder, SCHIZOID, schizoid personality disorder. What is it? It's a lack of interest in social or personal relationships, preferring to be alone. All right, now as I'm going to go through this, I want to clarify this a little bit. I'm going to flesh this out a little bit more, so bear with me. I've had clients where I remember this one person I worked with was an engineer at this company. He developed a fairly progressive invention, and the company wanted to have him speak about it at their annual shareholders meeting on something creative. They think like 500 people are going to show up, and they want to give him an award and a bonus. He said, "No, I don't want it. I don't want it. Don't do it." And they were pushing it. And he said, "I'm going to threaten to quit if you make me speak and get an award in front of these people." And they actually contacted me, and I ended up speaking to the people that wanted to give him the award from HR, and I thought they were doing a good thing. And I said, I met the guy, and I realized instinctively, schizoid personality disorder, does not want crowds, does not want to speak, does not want a plaque, just wants to go back to his cubicle and invent. More comfortable with machines, with software, with artificial intelligence. It's like I'm one with my computer, but to be with a coworker, talk about the weekend. Hey, you catch that game? You see anything on the Olympics? Zero interest. Put on my lab coat, put on my suit and tie, sit at my desk, start working. You want lunch, Bruce? No. Brought a sandwich. Same sandwich for every year, ham and cheese, the next 25 years. A little bottle of water and maybe a fruit. That's all he wants. Doesn't want anything different. Doesn't want the spotlight on him. Employee of the month. Hey, all right. Oh, God. Let me get through this as quickly as I can. They don't want it. People think they do, but they don't. Preferring to be alone. Limited range of emotional expression. They're not into it. Like, yeah, our team won Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah. Okay. Great. Wonderful. We won the most medals in the gold, man, in the Olympics. We won like a medal in skateboarding, and we took first place in the 4x100. Yay, USA. There's a terrible car accident on the 275, like 15 cars. Come on, we got to get out there. We're first responders. I'll put on my coat. Nothing. They just don't have that emotional capacity to be involved. Okay, now we got some questions popping up. As a young man, I realized more and more I'm surrounded by a lot of toxic masculinity. I'm a lot of a passive, timid guy. Is this something I should work on? Masculinity is not by itself a bad thing. No, nothing wrong with being around guys that are confident, that are strong, that are motivated, that are type A's. That's going to help you grow. It's the toxic part I don't like to hear. When I hear stuff like, making fun of people, bullying, harassing women or guys in the workplace, shouting at people, being crude, racial. That's a problem. That's a problem. Masculinity is not by itself a bad. I know it gets a bad rap now. You're masculine. You're masculine. We need masculinity. We need guys. We need real men. I'm drawn to that. I'm not going to lie. I like to be around guys that are confident, self-assured, and know who they are. I would not have worked as well as I do with my agent slash producer if he wasn't masculine. I'll be honest about it. I don't think I would. He's very self-assured, very confident. He always goes right to the hole. It's a basketball expression. And meaning like right to the basket. And I thrive on that. I don't know if I could work as well as somebody who's really timid, like one of these personality people, if they were my agent, for instance, or if they were my producer and I would needed help, like, hey man, I think I screwed up the beginning. I need to do it again. And like, you're fine. It's good. Yeah. What do you accuse me of? Not helping you? What? You think I'm trying to destroy you? What do you think? What do you got against me? Oh, you don't like me? Oh, yeah, I get it. You're racist. Yeah. Like the first two people I couldn't work with. I couldn't work with those types. I need my people around me to be demonstrative and let me know if I'm screwing up. Going good is fine. But even more important, if I'm screwing up, did something bad. There's plenty of times he's done that to me where he said, hey, Bruce, you did this wrong. We got to do this over again, where you handle this inappropriately. Go this direction. And I'm like, yeah, thank you so much for doing that. And if he didn't, I'd have a problem. I need that feedback. Okay. Let's see. So the masculinity is good. The toxicity is bad. So I want you to learn how to separate those two. And I want you to develop your masculinity. Nothing wrong with being masculine. And I want you to get away from that toxicity. No one should have to put up going to work where you're made to feel uncomfortable. And if that's the case, where it's ingrained and they're not going to change, move on and find a better workplace. That's it. And that's how I want you to think. And okay, got it. And that's how I want you to think about stuff. Okay. Nice to hear from you, Doc. Can narcotics, non-pharmaceutical drugs, psychedelics trigger? Yeah. Oh man, 100%. Yeah, great question. Can drug? Yeah. You do enough methamphetamine, you do spice, you do any of the hallucinogens. Yeah, you will become paranoid. That's almost a byproduct. Suspicious of people, paranoid. Yeah. Just the very lack of sleep you're going to have is going to mess you up. Because when you start not having enough sleep, you get kind of like in a fog, in the fugue, they call it, and you're not thinking clearly, and you start getting really out of it. So yeah, psychedelic drugs, bad. Heavy pharmaceutical usage will damage your brain and, hurt parts of the brain that affect reasoning, common sense, fight or flight, will mess up your neuron pathway. So yeah, it has a huge impact on your overall behavior and can lead you into these kinds of issues. We actually have a term for it. It's called drug-induced psychosis. When you do enough drugs, you become psychotic. That's what starts to happen. Okay. Lashak, hey, thank you. So much. Thank you. Legend of My Own Mind. Wolfgang, thank you. Developed a daily cocaine habit now. Haven't slept in 24 hours. That's what's going to happen because it's going to keep you up. And that's why people who do heavy amounts of drugs and any kind of pharmaceuticals, even drinking, your brain gets tolerant of it and it starts to need more and more and more and more. So what happens is you need more for less impact because the more, like they always say it as an expression in drug usage, like the first time you do cocaine is more intense than your greatest first sexual experience. You can't even compare it to the two. It's so great. But the problem is it's like snow going on the ground. The first time that snow hits, it's virgin snow. But again and again and again and again, you do it dozens, hundreds, thousands of times, you're basically poisoning the brain with pollutants, with toxicity. So you need more and more and more to get less and less effect. I hope that answers that question. Start to get help. Okay. Yeah, there's other ways to do it with ADHD. There's so many other ways you can get around that with good therapy, the right medication, the right structured program, and how to look at your day. You can do much better than the other option. Turn dependency. Totally. I give you a lot of credit, Sean. It takes a lot of guts to share what you're sharing. Um, it takes a lot of guts. I just want to see you get help. Definitely get yourself some counseling. Go see a psychiatrist. Learn how to taper off that stuff. And don't be afraid to go to NA, Narcotics Anonymous. We'll go to a support group on learning how to wean yourself off. But definitely get yourself some help with AA, NA, psychiatry, some therapy, and alternatives to using that kind of chemical, which is only going to hurt you long term. Damn man, be safe. Thank you, little shuck. It's nice of you. Never hit me like my friends. You never know what's going to respond to it. You never know what's going to affect you personally. So just be on the safe side. Get off that stuff as soon as possible. Okay. Hey, Bruce, sorry I couldn't make it to your training back on June 25th. There's some family I'm sad I missed it. No problem. And let me just say thank you for that comment. But if you want to purchase the trainings, don't worry. Just send us an email. We'll send it to you. It's not a problem. We're archiving everything. So if you have any particular, honestly, last month was the best training. I'm not going to lie, it was the best training. Each month I get better at it. I listen to my producer and I get stronger. So if you want to buy a training from previous times, we have them archived. $10, PayPal or crypto, not a problem. We're here to work with you. Honestly, if I had to say, they're all good, but that one's just a cut above. Definitely get that one. You would not be hurt doing that. Yeah, John, be safe. I agree. You ever though deals with those diagnosed with schizophrenia? I recently got diagnosed and I'm terrified to take Zyprexa. I'm trying to lose weight and be sexually active. Have my own conscious nonstop. I hear my own conscious nonstop. You know what, Terry, do me a favor. You're interviewing Death Grips really blew you up, and good freaking call taking suggestions. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that was a winner. That was a winner. Yeah. If Terry, I'm not gonna. I don't want to put you on the spot out here. Send us an email. Let me know your situation a little bit more in detail, and I could give you some advice on that. I don't want to say anything on air just for being sensitive and just keeping things perhaps to a certain extent, anonymity. I just feel like other people could benefit possibly. Yes, absolutely. And again, hang on one second. And it's sunridgeofnevada.com. Sorry, guys. Sunridge at Gmail, sunridgeofnevada@gmail.com. So any, thank you. See, that's why I have him here. God keeps me boundaries. sunridgeofnevada@gmail.com. If you want to purchase last month's training session, and if you would like to leave a comment, if I say to you, hey, send us an email, that's where I want you to send the stuff to. sunridgeofnevada@gmail.com. Appreciate it. I will pay you for a session. I'm only seeing one site for any minute intake. Thank you. I appreciate you and have been joining the channel for a few years. Thank you, Terry. It's a great comment. We're not doing anything online. We don't do any individual sessions online, but I would definitely say this: stick with the live streams and then become a regular with the trainings, because that's really the best way to get a hold of me and be able to get your thoughts out. So do the live, like we're doing a live stream obviously today. We're going to do a live stream next week. We're going to drop some videos after that the following week. And the following week, the end of the month, on the 27th at 5:30 West Coast time, will be Dysfunctional Families Part 2. So start following us that way and really get everything you can from the live streams and from the trainings. You will not be disappointed. Good luck. I appreciate the comments. Very nice of you. Sundog, I smoked marijuana for years and had a potential impact on my deposit. Yes, okay. However, when I relapsed recently, it was contra, made me a paranoid man with a great amount of anxiety. Very true. I mean, I'm not here to bash marijuana. There is relevancy for it. But at the same time, you take it for a prolonged period of time, there's a catch, there's repercussions. It does have impact on your brain. It does affect your thinking. your memory, your willingness to do things, your get up and go activity. So yes, will it help you with your depression? Yeah, but there's a cost. I find it makes people duller. They have less spark in them. They're less motivated to try new things and do new things. And again, the more you smoke it to a certain extent, your body gets used to that tolerance level. THC level is very high today. So there's a lot to talk about with marijuana. I'm not here to bash it, and people go, that's not the point. That's just my feeling on marijuana. There are several clinical reasons to take it, but there's a lot of negativity with marijuana as well long term. That's it. But it's not here about to be a bash. It's to be informed about the choices that you make. Robocall. Okay, thank you, Bruce. I'll send you an email. Thank you. Yeah, send us the email. It would really work out. Yes, taking psilocybin. Yeah, definitely brought out my auditory and visual hallucinations. I deal with mostly auditory. I love weed for so long. Now it makes my conscious go at rapid speed. Not good anymore. Yeah, your body got a tolerance to it. You need a higher level. It's not affecting you the same way. And you got to be really, really careful when you go into a smoke shop, where you go to a dispensary, and the guy giving you advice is a 19-year-old high school dropout. And he's talking about indica and sativa and different strains, different potencies. Well, this will do this will do that. Be very, very careful what you're taking, because it does have ramifications. You got to know exactly what you're getting. Be very careful. Monitor it carefully, because it does affect the brain. It does affect your consciousness. It does affect your health. So just be aware. Okay. This is my experience with marijuana. No disrespect meant to anyone who has different experiences. I completely agree with Bruce. The daily usage can and might mess you up, especially considering the long term. Okay. Especially considering the strength of the current stuff. This is a Dutch perspective, not a U.S. one. Thank you, Joshua. Yeah, what really has taken me back, and when this show is surprised at it, not anymore, is just the THC content. You're going from like 2% when I was in high school to sometimes as high as 32%. You have the Bud Olympics every year. What kind of THC strain can they get? So just to kind of answer this question and go back to the comments and to the expression of what are these different personality disorders, yes, marijuana can play an effect on you, can be positive, but can also be very, very easily negative. So just be aware of that, guys, and realize how it can mimic some of these personality disorders, and just be an informed consumer. That's the point of these live streams. Okay. Terry, bud tenders, also the people that run weed shops, are mostly idiots, not trying to be mean. One of the biggest lies is the indica and sativa argument, which is scientifically false as hell. Science can't prove a major difference in the psychoactive chemicals between the two. It's one of the biggest false marketing ploys ingrained in generations of people. Hey, good point, Terry. Thank you. Because I do go to dispensaries to find out what's going on, to talk to people, get some insight, and that's something I've noticed myself. Recreationally, a really strong weed can be really cool. I like a really strong weed too, make you reflective in a nice way, but daily usage limits in my experience. All right, thank you for sharing that. Okay, guys, let me go back now to the schizoid. Inability to take pleasure in most activities. Things that would get people happy, they don't have it. Okay, appearance of being cold and indifferent to others. I get a lot of that also. People will say things to me like, they'll say like, hey, my mother's really sick. She has cancer. She might not make it. Or my buddy just caught COVID. Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Yeah, it's sad. Really unfortunate. That's rough. Let me answer some questions here. I'm a huge proponent of weed, but indica making you tired and sativa energizing you is so false. Got to agree on that one, especially considering sleep patterns and further experiences. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you just shared that with us, your perspective. And and then what you're both saying is what I'm basically mirroring, what I see my own self. So thank you for doing that. Further experiences. Indica sativa are extremely similar. They are definitely different. To agree, understand where they're coming from. I don't think this is because that everyone has different experiences when it comes to long-term usage. That's a great, let me just clarify that point. Long term usage. It has an impact on you based on your body type, your background, your tolerance. All of these things happen. Yeah, a great point, Joshua. Thank you. So I want to get back to that point again. Can the personality disorders be a natural occurrence of people who age with no definitive identity or for other reasons? Great question. I want to say this one out loud. Can personality disorders be a natural occurrence to people who age with no definitive identity for other reasons? Great question. Here is the comment for that. Background. What are the risk factors of getting a personality disorder? Here we go. Family history of personality disorders or other mental illness. What are you surrounded by? Abusive, unstable, or chaotic family life during childhood. You shut your mouth. Yeah, you keep quiet. What are you laughing in the back for, stupid? Hey, fat boy, what a comment you want to make? Well, that's going to affect you. You say something again, I'll punch you so hard in your face, I'll knock you into next week. Being diagnosed with childhood conduct disorder. You're the kind of kid that's always in the principal's office for cruelty to animals, pushing a kid down a flight of stairs, setting a fire in an empty lot. Conduct disorder. We see this from childhood. You got a problem with like doing things. There's a ladder, someone's on it, you kick it as you go by. The guy falls, breaks his leg. You don't say a word, you just run around the corner, doesn't know what happened. Childhood conduct disorder. And finally, variations in brain chemistry and structure. We're getting better slowly at understanding how the brain works and why some people are predisposed to childhood violence and what's the effects of trauma and what's the effects of chaos. So you might have somebody who's not naturally a funny guy, but because he's around a lunatic or a violent individual, you suppress your personality and then it starts to come out. Makes sense. Okay. Can a person, okay. I'm currently 23 years old. And when I was 19, I had an awakening of sorts. I never did drugs. I started meditating and in a deep state of meditation. Had what you call a Kundalini awakening. From that, I became extremely self-aware and started seeing the world with a completely new set of eyes. A state of being always present, living in the now per se. The awakening, a new perspective. However, I split mine into two pieces. I was raised a Muslim. However, this new perspective made me question everything about that. That religion and fear that from my religion kills my soul because I feel as though I am not on the right path. How do I cope with this fear? It's a great comment. It's a great comment. When you said I had awakening, I get it. It's not. You're not crazy. You're not nuts. You're not out of your mind. You had clarity. And at your age, that's normal. You should be thinking about things and looking at things differently. And that's when you're going to have it, by the way, because your mind is so open. At my age, I'm like filled with so much just getting through the day stuff. To have the luxury of concentration like you did at 19, I could never have that again. Your mind is pure. Your mind is like fresh snow on a mountainside. It's beautiful. You're very lucky to have that. A sun that shines, not like Vegas sun, like 115 degrees, but just a sun that's warmth and makes you feel good about yourself. And you see things in a completely different light. I think what you need to do is kind of go with this and see where it takes you. You know, talk to somebody, maybe talk to a therapist, but I don't knock yourself and don't knock yourself down. I feel I'm not on the right path. You may be on the right path than you realize. And maybe you see religion in a whole different level now, in a way that's not meant to be corrupting or vindictive or angry or violent. You're seeing people as people. That's a very high level of self-consciousness. So don't run away from that. In a sense, embrace it, but embrace it in a healthy way. And realize you may have been given a great blessing. So I hope that helps you, B-side. Let us know how that works. I'm curious also. Hello, this may be a little off topic, but I have a friend who was very dear to me. Last year, I was extremely depressed but through large amounts of self-work, I climbed out of the depths. All I want to do is help him out. Great. That's wonderful. Are personal disorders more common amongst individualistic societies or collectivist societies? Great question. I saw an article about that. No, it is who you are. You could be in a very cloistered environment, let's say a very religious sect, and have that. You could be in a very like freewheeling commune type society and still have it. It's ingrained. It's genetic, really. It's how you perceive the world around it. So it doesn't make a difference where you come from. It's how you perceive yourself. Hope that answers that question. Our personal disorders, okay. You didn't say what your friend's problem was. As I know what it's like, what can I possibly do to help him? Good comment, Dior. For me, it was small goals and milestones, cleaning my room and congratulating myself for those things. Absolutely. That's perfect. Those are great. That's how you start. You got to start somewhere. Cleaning your room, hygiene, having a productive day, getting things accomplished, small goals. Small goals lead to big goals. That's what we tell people all the time. So that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know whether this relates to the current subject, but how do you perceive the current situations regarding social media and the internet when it comes to people's personalities, pros and cons? What the internet has done, it's removed that closeness of relationships. And the internet's still kind of grappling with that with social media. Everything is about trying to experience more live, more real, more personal. But I find with the texting, I find with the DMs, and it's just like you're hiding behind the wall. And for a lot of people, the internet became the worst impulses came out in the open because they could hide behind like a troll-like barrier and just barrage people with all kinds of hatred. I don't have to go into it. You guys know better than me. From A to Z, just nonstop hatred. And a lot of people are inherently lonely. I think I said this comment before. 150,000 people in America alone die each year. Number one reason, loneliness. They're lonely. You would think the internet will make us even more tighter, but it's made us even further apart. And the discord and the anger and the hatred and the violence and the cruelty from the internet, from social, in all different, guises and forms, have made people angrier and less likely to work together. Now you can be angry across the world, find like-minded people all over the continent that feel like you. Has it done great things? Absolutely. Has also brought out the really bad side of people, the dark side of people, the ugly side of people? Absolutely. So those are my pros and cons. Hope that helped you out, Joshua. I help him clean his room, listen to him, and give advice, doing anything I can as a friend. How can I help him with his depression and such? Sorry, this message is so split up. Don't worry about it. Suggest to him, I'm your friend. I think you need to talk to somebody. We've made some progress. I helped you kind of get out of your rut, but now you got to speak to a professional. And if you're okay with it, I'll go with you. And let's say you said to me, Joshua, I'm bringing my buddy in. I'm sorry, Snow. Let's say you said, all I want to do is help him. I know really is up to him to change, but really, you have any other advice? Say to him, you need help. I'll go with you to the session. If I was a therapist for your buddy, and you said I'm his best friend, and I'd say, come on in, talk. You okay with Snow being in the room? I've done that before, having a best friend come in. I want to get more insight. Yeah, say, I really like you. I really like you as my friend, but I want you to get better. I want you to get healthier. You need to speak to somebody. That's it. We've gone as far as we can. You made a lot of progress. Now we got to pick it up a notch, take it a different notch, go to a different level. That's how you help them. That's a real friend, telling him the truth. And let me share this thing about this thing also. People like that. They want the truth. When you're honest, that's a real friend. That's what they really want. So if you're his friend, Snow, and you sound like you are. You sound like you're a great guy. I don't know if you're a girl or a guy. I can't tell from here. But all the kudos to you. It doesn't make a really difference what you are. Who cares? You're a great friend. You care about somebody. But you got to say at a certain point, I can't go any further. You got to get help. You got to go to a mechanic. You got to get your car fixed. My wife called me. I need to get a ride to the mechanic tomorrow. I need a brake job and an oil change and check this out. Yeah. You could diagnose certain things in your car, but when you really want to get your car fixed, you go to a certified mechanic. you're not sure about something, how to figure out something on your property, you hire a construction worker, an engineering company. That's what their skill set is. The same thing with counseling. Go to find somebody that's the best that could help you. We have breakdowns on depression. You could check that out, and that might give them some confidence. Hey, let's watch some videos together. Hey, this guy Bruce seems pretty cool, pretty down to earth, pretty low key. Why don't we watch some of their videos together? Maybe watch some of their songs about depression, about some of the people they've done that talked about depression. That might give you some things to think about when you go to a therapist. The videos are there to be watched, guys. It's not like we obsess about how many views we get. We kind of live for the comments, but the videos are there to be used. It's like a library, a video library to pick something out. Oh, video 53, video 61, Mac Miller talking on about depression, Kid Cudi talking about depression. Take advantage. That's what it's really like, a lending library. The trainings are a separate animal, but that's what we want. So take advantage of the videos, and maybe they'll give you some confidence to take your friend to the next level. I hope that helps. Thank you. I've always tried to help him out and give him my honest thoughts. I'm not someone who sugarcoats things, but I suggested he gets a therapist. Yeah. Watch some videos this weekend. Give him some things to think about. Let him write down some questions. Let him say, hey, now I understand what I'm dealing with. Give him some confidence and tell him it's ultimately going to benefit him. And when he finds someone that he clicks with, perfect. Thanks to the response. I think it's a really cool that you discuss such a variety of stuff in music considering mental health. It's late, so I have to go, but I hope everyone has a nice evening. Yeah, thank you. Joshua, just out of curiosity, where are you calling in from? Just curious, and I'll let you escape. Just where are you coming from? I would assume that in this postmodern era, personality disorders are more common because subjectivity of fundamental principles as morality and objective truth, the trade-off for that is confusion. Great point. I mean, that's a great point. And that, there are people that, I'm going to have to, I don't know if I'm going to have time to get everybody in tonight, but when you understand personalities, things change and waxes and wane over time. That's a very good point. What was considered to be improper 100 years ago is proper now, and vice versa. But you'd be surprised. Yeah, and that's a great point. And you got to look at it through the eyes of how things are at the current time, not say, well, back in my day where we never did this when I was growing up. Yeah, but things change. That's a good point. But the personality disorder is still going to be there. It might change a little bit, but the norm is going to stay the same. If that's clarable, that's not even a word. If that's clarifiable, that's going to stay the same. Those issues are still going to be there. They may have a different guise and how they understand it for themselves, but these personalities, these different things are going to stick and stay with the person. When it comes to faith, religion, how did you come to the conclusion that your faith is the true faith? Netherlands. So it's 3:00. Man, thank you, Joshua. Go to sleep. Thank you so much. Much appreciation. Can't believe you got up at this hour to do it. Thank you. You're a true fan. Much appreciation. Good question. Let me say something about religion. When you're talking about faith, obviously you guys can see the yarmulke. I am Jewish, but here's the point. In Judaism, we say man. When I say man, I'm talking man and woman. People are, so I'm going to say it broader. People are created in the image of God. Everyone, not just Jewish people. White people, black people, brown people, purple people, yellow people, polka dotted people, even the aliens in Area 51. They're all created in the image of God. So for me, religion is irrelevant. Ethnicity is irrelevant. Your skin color is irrelevant because you are created for a divine purpose by God. So I don't have this racial hatred with this anger. So, and what does the yarmulke represent? That someone's watching what I do every single day. So how I treat people is I'm supposed to treat everybody with respect, no matter who I come across. My crowd's pretty rough, that who I work with, the kind of people, the kind of patients that I see. I have to treat them with respect. Person with schizophrenia who hasn't bathed in a month, and we clean them up, obviously, but not making sense, incoherent, screaming at people, violent, aggressive, where someone's been traumatized, that doesn't give me a right to bash them or humiliate them. I have to treat them with respect. Even when I've been involved in takedowns and restraints, I never have thought about hurting the person. Get a shot in. Let me get a shot in. Let me get a shot in. I put the person in restraints as compassionately as I can. The idea of God is you're supposed to represent God in a positive way, which means kindness to all. That's what we're here on this planet for. Not to blow each other up to smithereens or make each other's lives a horror show that you're going to have to see someone like me for trauma, but that we lift each other up. That's supposed to be it. That's what my faith is based on. And if someone can't give you that, then you got to question how really involved in is it really skin deep? Did they really take the teachings of what they're supposed to follow? Because every religion, there's like thousands of them, that's what they talk about. So no, I'm not, I look at everyone as an individual, and everyone's created in the image of God, and I'm supposed to treat everybody that I meet with kindness and compassion. Hope that helps. On for the net. Okay, wow. Good. Bless you, Joshua. Go to bed. Peace and love, Bruce. Follow you on IG. Yeah, okay. Love your Kendrick analysis. Thank you so much. Can introversion be a cause of personality disorders, and would you recommend getting out of your comfort zone, even though it's not easy as helpful? Absolutely. Yes. Take chances. This channel is proof about taking chances. I've wanted to do this kind of stuff since I was in grad school. I graduated, I think, late 90s already. Yeah, it's been a while. And even then, University of Georgia, I wanted to do something on mainstream media. At that time, that wasn't available. Internet was just getting popular, just getting started, really. Not popular, just getting started. And social media didn't exist, really. But I always want to do things on a large scale. And to finally get to this point, it's fantastic. I love it. I get, no matter how tired I am, how fried I am, I get up for every one of these videos. Whether it's a live stream training, music breakdown, I love it. It's like, it's like, give an example. It's like when I would walk in when I was a kid to go in Madison Square Garden and watch my Knicks play. I was always a big Knicks fan. We're going to a baseball field. You just get a rush. It's like, wow, you're here. You're at the stadium. It's so exciting. How could you be tired? That's how I feel with what I do, by pushing myself. And I've done that my entire career. And when I got confidence in myself, when I broke past the dysfunction I grew up in, that's when I began to grow. And when my agent / producer says, let's try this, I just basically just leap forward. I don't even question it. Just jump off the diving board. Big deal. I have confidence now when I hit the water, it's going to be fine. Was I used to be afraid, hug the diving board, never go off it? Now, metaphorically, jump off. And that's how you have to be with your own life. You have to take chances. Otherwise, you're going to be boring. You don't want to be boring. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the night. Maybe one day you'll break down my music. Shalom. Hey, we've done that before. So if you got something to break down, send it to us. We've done this about a dozen times now already, from big to small. And you know what? Hey, don't knock your music. So our email address, sunridgeofnevada@gmail.com. So, hey, not a problem. Send it. We'll break it down for you. It'll be our pleasure. Thank you. Okay. Throw out some more comments, questions. We got some great, it's been a great, I really appreciate you tonight. And that's what I'm off of. That's my personality. I need that crowd. I need that roar. I like that. It gets me going. And I understand when athletes will say, when musicians, it's not the same thing as playing in an empty concert or an empty stadium. You need to feed off that crowd. And that's how I am. I feed off energy. So I love the fact that people are throwing in comment after comment. Much, much, much appreciation. And in a few minutes, I'm going to announce who our 3 winners were. And be honest, tonight with the live stream, there could have been at least a W. So many people had so many great comments, but we're going to just pick what we felt were the best 3. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, give me 1 second. I want to just clarify one last thing. So, inability to take pleasure in most activities, inability to pick up normal social cues. So like this, hey, I'm talking about this guy. I'm talking hey, I'm talking about it. Nothing. They don't pick up on it. We're like someone's going like this, like they're angry, like clenching their teeth. Really? You seem angry? I didn't pick up on that at all. You're like you're crossed. Your eyes are angry. You got your fists up. You're angry. I didn't pick up on that. Inability to pick up normal social cues. Appearance of being cold and indifferent to others. You don't feel their pain. And finally, little or no interest in having sex with another person. It doesn't appeal to them. They're happy to be celibate. Not interested in going on dates. No Match.com, no bars, no fixer-uppers, no meet cute, no go to a dog park with a dog you rented for the day to try and meet a cute girl. They have zero interest. The whole act is almost like revolting to them. That means nothing to them. They don't want to have children. They don't want to procreate. They don't want to enjoy any kind of sexual activity. Does not give them pleasure. Leave them alone. So I want to clarify something also, just with the schizoid, because I see we're almost out of time. What I want you to do is this: just be aware that this mimics what's called being on the spectrum. Used to be called autism to a certain extent, but it's not. Autism is a genetic. There's a component to it. This is a personality. It's a different thing. The two may seem to be similar, but really, I'm just doing my hands up. They're separate. So just be careful. A lot of times people, make that confusion. Being on the spectrum, because it's on a continuum, it's a lot different to diagnose and understand what that is versus schizoid. That's a much different kind of person who doesn't have any of the traits of a on the spectrum personality, but they're just cold, indifferent, not interested in social activities, want to be left alone. TV is fine, walk by themselves. They don't need a pet. They don't need a pet goldfish. Not interested. So I want to get past these two, the paranoid and the schizoid, and clarify what those two are and what those two aren't. Okay, we're just about getting out of time, so I want to read our 3 top winners tonight. So the ones, no particular order, but here's 1, 2, 3. It's Stun Dog. Thank you. Great comments tonight. B-side for the people. Appreciate your input, your insight. And Joshua for staying up this late. We got to give you credit. We'll get you some no-dos next time. I don't know how you do it. But Stun Dog, B-side for the people, and Joshua. And what we want you to do is this. Send us an email. Send us an email at sunridgeofnevada@gmail.com. We'll give you the code. So on the 26th at 5:30 West Coast time, we will be doing part 2 of Dysfunctional Families. So you 3 guys did it. Great job. We really appreciate everyone's input and expressions and everything like that. Okay, last question or two. How can you discipline your children effectively with hindering their personality development? Great question. You got to give your kids norms. All right. So things like, I don't want you drinking. I don't want you doing drugs. I don't want you hanging around idiots. I want you to make good decisions, but you allow them to be who they are. We had a guy on the training who said like his father was like, couldn't get into what he was into. He liked computers. He liked, fantasy kind of games. He liked that stuff. Father didn't think it was manly. Who cares? He was my kid. I'd be like, hey, you're doing okay. Your grades are good. You're respecting your mother. You respect people. You respect yourself. You like that stuff? Go do it. You want to go to a fantasy camp? You want to go to a esports tournament? You want to play these? Do it. Kid says to me at an early age, I like structure. I like saluting. I like the military. Go for it. There's programs. There's camps. If they like what they like, encourage that. Be supportive. But give them the boundaries that they need to be successful so they know what they can bounce against, and make good decisions. That's all. You're putting together the framework, but your kids will handle, like you're putting together like the foundation, and your kids will handle the first and second floor. Hope that helps. Dora, hey, Bruce. He started doing therapy with an LCC, and it's not helpful for me. We ever start taking new patients? At this point, no. Thank you. What I'll say is this: we have to be careful because there's certain state laws and there's certain things we got to be careful of. So I can't say I'm giving you therapy. I don't want to do that. I can't say that. I have to say I'm giving you clinical advice, but I'm not giving you therapy because there's legal ramifications. So, and when you watch the live streams, it's advice. When you listen to the trainings, it's advice. It's not clinical. We're not taking you on as a patient. I'm not doing this to be a jerk or an ego thing. It's more of a liability for us because we got to be careful about that, what we can provide and what we can provide. So come to the live streams. The live streams are clinical. Come to the trainings, pay for the training. And when I do a breakdown of the video, see how that video relates to you. So many times people have told us that. So check that out and kind of go from there. Hope that helps. Okay, sorry, got it. All right, guys, we are going to call it a day. Last time, Stun Dog, you got it. B-Side for the People, you got it. Joshua, you got it. Hit us an email, sunridgeofnevada@gmail.com. With, for you guys to get get the code that you need to lock in on the 26th at 5:30 West Coast time. But also I mentioned some other people that want to share some things. I didn't want them to do it on the air, so to speak. So send us an email that way. I read it. I will get back to you. Not a problem. All right, guys. And with that, we're going to call it quits. Thank you. This is a great live stream. I see this topic. We're up a lot in people. We will go back to it again, and we will go from there. So I'm calling it a night. Thank you so much. Bruce Muffson, LCSW, Sunridge of Nevada. Thank you all so much for listening and watching and commenting. Have a good one.